Hi, my name's Midtown with DJ.Studio, and today we're going to be talking about transition basics. Learning how to DJ and creating mixtapes, it's easy to feel overwhelmed with all the different DJ terminology. In this video, we're taking it back to the fundamentals with an introduction to transitions. What exactly are they, and what tools do we have inside DJ.Studio to create them? We'll explain the principles of EQ, how we divide up the sounds in our songs. Finally, we'll clarify some of that remaining terminology, as well as customizing transitions using manual automation. Let's jump into DJ.Studio. I've added a few songs and we're currently in the Studio tab. Near the top of our timeline, you'll see the numbers 1, 2, 3, etc. And if we click on one of these numbers, it'll zoom in automatically. Now we see that these numbers correspond to the transitions between our songs. A transition consists of two songs overlapping, and it's the time when we move the focus from one song to the next. What this sounds like and what exactly happens during the transitions is entirely up to your creativity. You can introduce the next song gradually or quickly jump from one song to the other. DJ.Studio helps visualize this time by wrapping it in what we call transition windows. The transition window surrounds the time where the songs overlap, and on either side of the transition window, you'll see that the waveforms of our songs are faded out. Before the window, we don't need to be accidentally playing parts of the song we're about to mix into. During the window, both songs are audible and we can move from one song to the next. Then, once our transition is complete, we've moved into the new song and we no longer need to hear the previous song. Of course, we can change what parts of our songs are within the transition window and audible, either by clicking the bar at the top of the song that we're mixing into and dragging to move it within the transition window, or we can click the bar at the top of the transition window itself to move its location within the song that we're mixing out of. Making sure that your transition window is selected and that you're on the transition tab, just to the left of our playback controls, you'll see the numbers 4, 8, 16, and 32. These change the duration of our transition window. Bringing our mouse up to the transition window, we can also use the tabs on either side to shorten or lengthen it to whatever we want. With the two songs overlapping, the simplest way that we can move from one song to the next is by controlling the gain or volume of our song. To do that, let's take a look at our transition tab again. This is where we control everything that happens inside our transition window, including the use of transition presets. For now, let's just focus on the volume category and choose Crossfade. With Crossfades, at the start of our transition window, the song that we're mixing out of will start at 100% volume and then fade out over the course of our transition. Simultaneously, the song that we're mixing into starts with its volume decreased and then slowly gets louder over the duration of our transition. Transition is complete and we've successfully moved from one song to the next. Volume, how loud a song is a fundamental component of a DJ transition. However, every song and every transition is unique. Different instrumentation can mean that two songs blend together and complement each other, but it can mean that loud sounds clash or drown out the quieter sounds. These situations need more control than just turning the volume of everything up or down. We instead divide up a song's volume into low, mid, and high EQ, short for equalization. The low band, often referred to as the bass EQ, is where all our low frequency sounds live. Kick drums, bass lines, especially in dance music, you'll find as you turn the bass EQ up and down that it controls a lot of the energy in the music. The swap preset in our bass category is a great example of using EQ in transitions. More than simply fading volume up or down to move the listener's attention, if we swap the bass by turning the bass EQ volume down on one song while simultaneously increasing it to full volume on the next song, you feel the energy shift from one song to the next. Speaking of our other bands, let's jump to the other end and talk about our high EQ. Here you'll find bright and crisp high frequency sounds, like hi-hats, cymbals, and effects. Many sounds in a song can have bright high frequency components. This can become problematic when we overlap two songs. The high-pitched sounds are getting a bit too overwhelming. We can come to our high category and select the fade out preset. Set to 100%, it will gradually fade out the volume of those high frequency sounds in the song that we're mixing out of. our low and our high band is our middle or mid EQ, and this will give us control over things like vocals, pianos, or really most lead instruments. These sounds often do have parts that cross into the low or high EQ bands, but the majority of their volume can be controlled with the mid EQ. Choosing the Fade In preset, the sounds within the mid EQ band will start with their volume turned down and then slowly fade in throughout the duration of the transition. Of course, you're not limited to choosing just one preset, and more often than not, you'll want to combine or perhaps even manually customize a few to create the style of transition you think suits any given song's best. Let's rapid fire through the different preset names and DJ terms you'll find when creating transitions in DJ.Studio. Each transition preset has a parameter next to it that can be adjusted to customize how that preset is applied. Fades are the process of increasing or decreasing an effect or control, often volume or EQ control gradually over a duration of time. The Fade In starts the transition with the selected control turned down of the song that we're mixing into, and then gradually increases that throughout the transition. For Fade Out, the transition starts with the selected control turned up on the song that we're mixing out of, and then it gradually decreases throughout the transition. Crossfades increase a control like volume or EQ on one song while decreasing the same control on the other song. The movement of the controls visually forms an X or cross shape. Unlike the crossfade in a swap, the control is switched from on to off instantly on one song and conversely quickly swapped from off to on the next song. The swap fade is a hybrid of the crossfade and the swap. It's not as gradual as the crossfade, but rather it smoothly swaps the controls on-off state rather than just flipping them instantly. Presets and their parameters are a solid starting point for creating transitions. However, for full control, switch a category to manual mode. We're now able to click and add points or nodes to the line in the transition window representing adjustments to a category. This is a process called automation, creating adjustments to automatically occur during our transition. Each category has a unique color automation line. However, if you do get mixed up which is which, click the solo button next to the category to isolate that automation line for clear adjustments. Then unsolo it to view all the automation lines again. If you create a transition with manual automation or a favorite combination of presets, click the card in the top of the video now to learn about saving custom transition presets. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to the basics of transitions in DJ.Studio. If you're ready to go beyond the basics, there's another card at the top of the video to learn about transitions and changing a song's speed or BPM. Links to both tutorials will be in the description, along with a link to help.dj.studio. You can head over there if you have any general questions about using DJ.Studio, or maybe you want to learn about some of the other transition categories and presets, high and low filters, noise, and echo effects. My name's Midtown Jack, and I'll see you in the next video.